Game of Thrones, episode 2, episode 69 of the series. Dave, what'd you think?
Wait, is it actually episode 69? Is that right?
Yeah, that's why Arya got freaky last night, bro.
Yeah. Well, this is our 169th podcast episode. Talk about that symmetry. Very nice.
Hey.
I thought it was a great episode. I thought this was classic Thrones once again. I loved it. That was another banger. Season 8, 2 for 2 so far. What about you? What'd you think?
Yeah, it's so funny because I feel like the show, it's easy to get caught up, especially since no one really knows where we're going. We're obviously past the books at this point. It's easy to get caught up in theories. How is it going to end? What's going to happen? And these first 2 episodes, in a lot of ways, I feel like could have almost been just like 1 hour and a half long movie put together in a lot of senses, because they felt very connected in terms of setting the table. But this one, what I really liked was it really brought you down to what makes the show so good. And it's that you have all these really unique and varying secondary and tertiary characters that people have grown to love. Now, obviously, with Battle of Bastards Part 2 / Battle of Winterfell, it's that most of them probably won't see episode 4. So this is, a table setting one, giving a lot of fan service to these characters and some really great moments. We'll talk about those in a second. But I found myself feeling very just kind of like, I want more stuff to be happening. I want to just get going. We only have 6 episodes this season. More stuff has to happen. But then upon reflection, I was like, you know what? This actually really was, I think, a very well done episode, because you need this groundedness to really drive the emotional things of the series home. But yeah, just to kind of pick it back up, I really think, and I think the criticism I saw from people was that, not a lot happened in this episode. There's only 6 episodes this season. We got to be moving more. And I really think this episode was important because it brought a little bit of balance to the human aspect of it, along with this obviously epic journey that we're coming to conclusion on. I mentioned that there were a lot of great moments last night. Which ones stood out for you, and which ones did you maybe not like so much?
Once again, like the first episode, and they definitely feel as one, but I thought most of the scenes they all had an intention, a purpose for being there. And like you said, it's not like the plot moves that much, but I really like this episode because the human moments, as you said, these conversations, people talking in rooms, that largely makes up some of the best of Game of Thrones there ever has been. Like, obviously, we talk about all the big events, the viral moments, stuff like that, like the Red Wedding, but where Thrones really shines, is when Tyrion and Bronn are chopping it up, stuff like that, right? And to have that fireplace scene in this episode, where they're just kind of just having this last night together. And on one hand, you get like a bit of closure on Tormund and Brienne. Brienne actually gets knighted by Jaime, which I thought was like a really warm, sincere moment and gesture. Tyrion in the cup once again. Pod singing a song, surprisingly. I really liked everything about that episode. And then, obviously everyone's really talking about Arya getting the spear twice from Gendry.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Which I also was a fan of. But I like these moments because if you think about the plot, like everyone's like, how can we end this? And there's about 4 episodes, like 5 hours left. There's not a whole lot left to be had in terms of plot. They're going to fight. A lot of people are going to die very soon, right? So the fact that we get this one last moment of like everyone together, and again for the first time a lot of times, and these human moments, it's really where the writing gets to shine. I'm really happy that we got this, because season 7 we didn't really have a lot of that. Season 7 did a lot of plot moving to get us to this point. Now that we're in the end game, literally, it was nice, especially if you've been watching the show for such a long time over the years. It's like I was very happy with it for sure.
Yeah, I thought it was great. And one of my other favorite running parts of it was just how often people were saying things and talking about things that are just never going to come to fruition and are just like ensuring their death.
Like Grey Worm.
Yo, later, bro. Never gonna see you past like minute 20 of the next episode. Everybody in the crypts. I mean, not everybody's gonna die, but there's no way those crypts are that safe.
They mentioned it too many times.
Too many times. First time I was like, makes sense. Second and third time I was like, oh, they're done. Like those, Ned Stark reanimated, headless, gonna be popping up. I don't know. Probably not him, but
well, that's the thing. I mean, I feel like I'm leaning towards the Night King does raise the dead in the crypts, just because they've referenced the crypts so explicitly and they've spent some time down there, John specifically. But they're not going to look like zombie Ned, zombie Leon. It's just a bunch of skeletons, right? So you're gonna have to like see them rise up out of their tombs specifically. And I guess Ned's doesn't have a head. I guess that helps him stand out a little bit. But they've mentioned it so much, it has to happen in some regard. I guess something down there.
Yeah,
there's a lot of theories about that, but we'll see.
Littlefinger wasn't buried down there, right? I'm trying to like think who could.
It's a good question. They only buried Starks down there.
Yeah,
so he's probably buried somewhere around, though. He died there. But
yeah,
good question. Or they could have burned him.
John. That's probably more likely. I'm just trying to think, because my guess is that in the trailers we see Arya running away from something, obviously very fearful. People assume it probably is related to this battle, and seeing a reanimated somebody. It must be maybe someone, maybe like Gendry dies and is reanimated, something like that, where she feels like she can't kill him then. I don't know, but I was thinking at first might be Ned, but I don't know if that makes total sense. Why don't we go through quick? Who's safe next week? Like, who for sure is not dying? Jon? Dany?
Jon, Dany. Sansa.
Bran?
I'd say Bran and Sam. I'd say Bran. I don't think Bran is going to go out this early. Like, somebody saying the Night King could die in this episode, and I mean, maybe they really truly vanquish the White Walkers the first half of the season. They just go on with Cersei. Feels a little quick. So I think Bran and the Night King have more to come. But honestly, any other supporting player, I think Jaime's pretty safe, just because I feel like Jaime's going to have to kill Cersei or be involved in that somehow, right? So whether Jaime almost gets killed, and by extension that gets Brienne killed or Pod killed, something like that. But yeah, all the supporting players, I don't think any of them are safe. I don't think all of them will die. The Hound probably lives, considering we think the Clegane Bowl will happen, but gone. Grey Worm gone. Tormund probably gone. Jorah, he just got Heartsbane from Sam, the Tarly sword. Time to die. Yeah. Theon.
Jorah's done, son.
Yep. All right, cool. Theon's, we got it. We see it happening.
Theon sacrificing himself. That's his redemption arc. I'm interested. Arya seems like one who could be a big name killed off. Jaime, with the whole Cersei thing, it feels like he has to still be involved, unless the Valonqar prophecy is, I guess, referencing
Tyrion.
Tyrion being the little brother that kills.
That's what Cersei always thought it would be, but
maybe she's right.
Still technically the little brother, also. So.
I don't know. Sad. Lady Mormont definitely gone at this point. She's like,
that's the thing. There's a lot of these other tertiary characters like Lyanna Mormont, Davos, Varys, or Royce, the head of the Dothraki guy, like Missandei, Gilly. I feel like not all of them will kick it either. A lot of them won't be in the fight, but Tyrion, I think Tyrion's safe. It's tough though. You can, again, like we talked about in the theories episode, you can talk yourself into almost anything, which is kind of part of the fun.
Definitely. Ghost, is he safe? He's back apparently.
So honestly, I saw that. Oh, there's Ghost. Cool. He's not moving that much. Just moves his head. Save on that animation. Nice.
Yeah, I was so excited to see him, and then also like kind of bummed that it was like very just like fan service. They just basically put him in a shot, and we're like, okay, there you go, enjoy that.
It's just funny because like he's never been like referenced, so it's like he's never left. He's always been there. He's just always been out of frame. That's what
just
we're
chilling.
To think.
He never growls, never nothing. Nope. Best direwolf the land. Two more things. First, how stupid is this plan to lure the Night King with Bran?
Yeah, I mean, when they were saying, I'm like, I don't have another idea because they know brute force ain't gonna do it. And even if you try with the dragons, they got a lot of ice javelins by the look of it. So it's a big risk. So
big risk.
They gotta try that. And as Bran said, that's their way to lure him. And again, we don't really know why. We don't really know what the connection is. It could be really simple, the way Bran explained it. But yeah, honestly, it kind of makes sense to try and get the Night King to get close. But because you can't just try and get through the army, he'll be in the back. So honestly, it kind of makes sense to me.
Yeah, I just think it. I don't know, especially like guarding him with Theon. Like, I don't know, man. Theon, you gotta put a better bodyguard out there.
Ironborn with you, son.
And last thing, John finally shares that he's Aegon Targaryen. And Dany, her first thought is, oh damn, not that I'm fucking my nephew, but that, oh, you might take away the Iron Throne.
She's driven, dog. She knows her goals. Detail oriented, goal oriented.
She's on that Mad Queen route, it seems like, at this point.
And again, like, people are like, oh, nothing happened. But again, we got Sansa and Dany once again actually coming really to a head and butting heads about their differing views of how everything should happen should they all live. And now Dany understands that Jon has a legitimate claim, perhaps a stronger claim than she does, and thus is a challenger. We got that in this episode. So again, Dany and Jon having that on their mind right as it's time to fight, not the best. Would Dany let Jon die in an episode or two? I don't know. Could be on her mind now. Who knows?
I wouldn't put it past her.
I wanted to ask you, though, about the,
I could talk about Game of Thrones. Oh, go ahead.
I just want to ask you about the Arya Gendry thing one last time, just because there were some people that were maybe not even having negative reaction, but having a startled reaction or surprised reaction, because I guess because we've seen Maisie Williams first met her when she was like 10 and or around that age, and she clearly was a child, and now she's not. I think she's like 21, 20 as an actress, and Arya in the show is 18. I don't know. Like, I thought it was like a really tender, like, legitimate hookup, you know, consensual. Like, we had Grey Worm Missandei and Gillian Sam. I mean, I don't know. No one was offended when 15-year-old Tommen got it on with Marjorie. Like,
right. Yeah, there's a bit of a double standard. I didn't really have a problem with it, especially knowing Maisie Williams 22 and Arya I know was like 17, 18. But I would never call it tender because she was like, "Yo, remember when you were with the Red Lady? What was up with that? You hook up with anyone else?" Like, she was really putting the screws to him, and that was just like, "Yo, take your own pants off. I'm not gonna woo you here." Like, she was not tender at all. I think she took him for a ride.
Good. She deserves
it. Yeah, absolutely. Good for her, too. She's like, I'm not hanging out with these miserable old men outside. I'm going to go get it in with this young Baratheon stud.
That dragonglass spear.
Yeah, but as I was saying before, I could talk about the Game of Thrones forever. Just awesome show.